Matt Yaloff along with the Hall of Famer Peter Gammons. It's awesome to see you in the flesh.
I know it's actually, when I come back here, it's really fun just to see people. It's, I know I'm off there on Cape Cod, the wind's blowing in, but I love seeing and it's especially a great day to be with Carlos Pena, because we go back a long way. Yeah, one of my best friends in baseball. Well,
we're going to talk a lot about the Hall of Fame coming up. But Jose Bautista, 37 years old, and he wants back in. Is that possible?
I think it is possible. I mean, he had a terrible year. There's no question. His on-base, his OPS has declined 4 years in a row. He had a 3.040. He struck out a lot last year, which he normally doesn't do. He finally took advice from friends, went and had his eyes checked, and the vision was just what his friends thought, really bad. So he's getting used to his glasses, probably wear contacts, and wherever he ends up in spring training. But my feeling, he's one of these people. If you know him, first of all, he's extremely smart. Second, he is obsessed about beating aging, very much like Tom Brady. I mean, they're both obsessed with they can beat age, but age doesn't define them. And I think he will come back. I don't know where it's going to be. I think he has to wait until spring training starts and all the hitters, or most of the hitters have fallen, and then he'll get a chance. And I would not be surprised if he came back and hit 25, 30 home runs.
Let me talk to you about the Hall of Fame. The announcement coming down on Wednesday, the class of 2018. Before we get to that, the first year you voted was what?
1981.
And who did you vote for who got in?
Bob Gibson. So that was a no-brainer. And I don't remember people I voted for that didn't get in. And at that time, there was a lot of a feeling. It was very different. We didn't do all the research that we do today. We don't have all the places. We don't, we can look up comparative stats and so forth.
Well, you're leading me exactly where I want to go, which is, when did revealing your ballot become something that is trendy or the thing to do? Because you guys did it differently back then, I'm sure there was no outlet for revealing. But why reveal? What are you gaining?
Well, I did have I would put it in going back to 1981, I would put it in my Sunday column in the Boston Globe. And
so you did reveal it?
I did. And then when I was working for ESPN, it was on ESPN.com, I would always reveal my ballot. And I've always felt that people should know. They could say, well, what an idiot this guy is. But, I mean, I always felt that, and I really feel strongly, that day when that ballot arrives in the mail, late November, that's a special day. Because I know what it's like for the players when they get. This is not, I think people too often make the voting for the Hall of Fame too much of an academic exercise. And I was fortunate enough the year that I got the Spink Award, before everyone goes over to the induction ceremony, you're out on the back porch having brunch at the Otesaga, and it was one of the great thrills of my life, because I ended up having my brunch and coffee and orange juice between Bob Gibson and Sandy Koufax. And, to say I revered them is just a slight understatement. But, I mean, but it's also so interesting, because there's in that situation, and I think I wish everyone had the opportunity, in that situation in Cooperstown every year, what you find is the respect for that institution, the respect for getting into that club. Most all those Hall of Famers are so humble, because they know they're no better than other 40 people who are out there on that porch.
All right, well, then if you've been doing it for 30 or 40 years, reveal your ballot. Here it is. I ask, and there it is. So explain number one on the left, Barry Bonds. You have him in. Have you been voting for him year by year?
2 years. And Roger, now, there is a separate part of it with Roger Clemens, so I'll explain. I finally come to the point where I've said, all right, if there is no record, I mean, baseball didn't have rules about performance-enhancing drugs. Some laws were, but there were laws against amphetamines in the 60s, 70s, and 80s too. But if they never actually failed a drug test, then I say, okay, I can vote for them. And I finally, Bond's one of the greatest players I've ever seen. And there has to be a place for Barry Bonds. Now, maybe you have a separate section. These players are all from this time period, from 1990 until 2006, or 2005, when drug testing was put into play.
Right.
But I believe Roger Clemens belongs there. But I had the one thing, and I'm not to sound like the Attorney General of the United States, but I felt I did a book with Clemens after the '86 season. So if someone were to feel that, hey, if you help him make the Hall of Fame, you're going to make more money. This is not David Halberstam writing about about the best of the brightest. I mean, I did a book with, but if people feel so, I recused myself. So I left it blank. Now I feel very badly about that with Jeff Kent, or for Billy Wagner, or for Larry Walker, for Fred McGriff. But
there was no room for them.
No. Also, there would have been room for them if we were allowed to vote for 15, as we were in the past.
So you wish it would go up?
Yes, I do. But also, I mean, I just felt that I had to do that. It may only be for 1 year. But it also, as I was writing about it and thinking about it, and I usually take a full month with my ballot, the one thing I find that I may be hypocritical about is that, well, what about Sammy Sosa? Now, reportedly, he failed a test in the year where the test was supposed to be private and not released. I don't, we don't have proof of it because all those tests disappeared. But at the same time, am I being hypocritical by not?
Well, some would say yes.
Believe me, I'm wrestling with it. It's a mea culpa. I may change my mind in a year, but at the same time, I think I am. Now, I think it's different when you're talking about Rafael Palmeiro or Manny Ramirez, because I like in their case, they violated baseball rules. Pete Rose violated a baseball rule. I'm not allowed to vote for him. But I feel that the violation of sacred baseball law is a disqualification. I may be wrong. A lot of my friends who are very strong analytics people, whom I respect immensely, would completely agree. I mean, Manny Ramirez would be in the Hall of Fame by his numbers. Certainly Palmeiro would be in the Hall of Fame for his numbers. But I just felt that
positive test.
I don't vote for him.
Okay. All right. Peter Gammons, here in town, in the flesh, the one and only, because the Hall of Fame class of 2018 will be revealed on Wednesday.